I'm expecting things out of him. He's a good talker already. So if he can, I think he's going to need a little bit more to get to where he's going. But I think if they handle him right, which is a big ask, I think the only thing I think that draws it, that's going to hold him down, is because there's like 3 or 4 guys with almost the same look.
All right, so after the tribal court, we got our first matchup of the night. It was Austin Theory, the United States champion, defending his title against Sheamus. And they gave this one a bunch of time, and I think that was kind of the first clue that there wasn't going to be a lot of wrestling on the show, was the fact that we're like an hour in and it's only been the tribal court and this matchup by the end of things. But they got a bunch of time in this one. You had some interference from Pretty Deadly as well as the Brawling Brutes towards the end of this thing. And it just felt like the finish was what we've seen before between these guys, as Sheamus got distracted by Pretty Deadly as he gave one of Pretty Deadly the bro kick, and then Theory capitalized with a schoolboy using the title for leverage to retain the title. I thought the matchup was good, but it just felt like a lot of it was taken out by the commercial breaks, but you hated it.
No, I don't, those guys to me don't have chemistry for some reason. It's just, I'm just not feeling it. And then that finish is, I hate to, after it was such a great bloodline story, then I hate to throw, cold water on it by saying, that sucked, but it kind of sucked. And, there was people was wanting to, they're all invested in the bloodline, then you give them this. I mean, it didn't hurt nothing, but it really didn't accent the show. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be negative on it, but it was, I didn't like it.
I would have gave a women's match, like featuring the people that they put in the segment later on in the show. I'd rather have had them in this spot here in a matchup. I think that would have got over better. We get after this the Grayson Waller effect with Edge on it. We get Waller talking about that he hasn't even had a match yet, but here he is in Madison Square Garden. He knows everyone is stunned by his good looks, but tonight his guest has an announcement that will be bigger than anything that's happened here, and that leads to Waller bringing out Edge. The crowd sings along with Edge's theme music as well, or at least tries to. Edge sits down with Waller, and Edge plays with the crowd, but Waller cuts him off and wants to get to Edge's announcement rather than pander. And Edge wants to know what Waller is talking about. He says this is his 25th anniversary of his debut in WWE, and he talks about how it happened on his first premium live event was in Madison Square Garden at SummerSlam 1998 when he teamed with Sable. He said as in this building, it takes him down a brief trip down memory lane, and the people have embraced him since that very first matchup, and he knows how hard it is to earn New York City's respect. And then he puts over the crowd. Waller interrupts again, and Ed says that the big announcement is not his he says it's his retirement, but Edge says it's not. This leads to Edge telling him not only is he not retired, but he says that tonight he's going to see if Waller can sink or swim, and he's going to face him one-on-one in Madison Square Garden. It was a rather long segment to get to Edge versus Grayson Waller, but I think Waller held his own in this segment, and this was a big opportunity for him after his, the return segment at Money in the Bank with John Cena.
Well, after they got past that wallowing in the 25 years ago and all that, and I think they redeemed themselves in the match, because this is the first time Grayson Waller's even been on TV, right, in a match.
Yes, this is his first match on the main roster.
And I think, well, it's kind of, now he's fighting from the downside because and he lost. So, but I think he actually advanced himself. He really did. I love his outfit. Where did he get that damn outfit? From the damn Salvation Army? You see, his boots come up to, not even boots. They're just high shoes, I guess. And he let the laces out, and he's wearing like swimming trunks, looks like to me. But still, I think Grayson Waller, I'm expecting things out of him. He's a good talker already. So if he can, I think he's going to need a little bit more to get to where he's going. But I think if they handle him right, which is a big ask, I think the only thing I think that draws it, that's going to hold him down, is because there's like 3 or 4 guys with almost the same look. You got Grayson Waller, then you got this kid here, and then they got 2 more. Austin Theory.
Yeah.
And they all kind of got the same similar look and like age too. They're young guys. So we'll see where that goes. But I think this, and they give them how many segments? They went through 2 segments, didn't they?
Well, they had the long talking segment, and then the matchup went through 2 segments. I believe it got 15 minutes or so. It got a good amount of time. I think maybe like 13, 15 minutes. And Grayson Waller comes up short with Edge hitting a spear in midair as Grayson Waller went for the rolling cutter. I agree with you. I think that he showed that he could step up to a challenge, step up against a WWE Hall of Famer, and he didn't need the win. He just needed to show that he can keep up move for move and have that type of matchup with them, and that did a lot for him. That did a lot more than they've done for a lot of other call-ups who are kind of put in similar positions like this. I think that him coming up short in this type of matchup will do more for him in the long term. And he's been being put in these big opportunities between Money in the Bank and this show here.
Yeah. And while that match was going on, I looked at the clock. I said, damn.
Yeah.
Do they have another match? And then I'm thinking, they're going to have to, that's when I said, okay, the Usos got to come back with something.
Yeah.
And right when I thought that, they said that he is on his way back to the arena. And I said, okay, now we got it. So on the way back, then, because I was thinking, they can't leave it like this. They got to add a little bit of fuel to the fire here and see where it takes them. So, and he did. They announced that he got back, and then he went to the ring, and Roman went to the ring. And I'm ahead of you now in the telling of this story. But we
already told that part.
Yeah, but we'll tell it again. But see, this show was only the Usos and the tribal chief, and that's basically it. That was the story for the night.
That's the part that needed to deliver, and it did. If it did for you, then you loved this show. If it didn't, then you didn't like the show. But you're probably watching the wrong company if you don't like this stuff, because this is the best thing going for WWE right now.
I think it's the best thing going in the whole business, really. And
the proof is in the pudding with all the money and the ratings being up. It's delivered on every single type of metric.
Mm-hmm. Well, doing a good job, because if you get my attention, you got to be doing something. And that's why nothing else in really wrestling gets my attention, but the bloodline does. So they're doing something right, and they're following not my advice, and you've heard me say this time and time again, have patience, tell a good story, and the people they'll go with you. So Madison Square Garden sold out, which I expected it to do anyway. And 15,000, that's what they had tickets for, right? Because they sectioned off a big part of it.
They said it's the highest grossing SmackDown ever in the United States.
Bullshit. I'm throwing the flag on that. Now,
I mean, with the prices they do for Madison Square Garden, I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah, I don't know how people can afford to go to anything in New York City. To tell you the truth, it's unbelievable.
One final segment, which was the women's division. You had Asuka come out, which I thought was for some talking, but she was soon interrupted. She was quite happy, and she said no one is ready for Asuka. But then Bianca Belair came out to interrupt. They start brawling, and then Charlotte Flair comes out, and Bianca and Charlotte start brawling with one another. It looks like Asuka's about to go off the top rope and attack both women, but then Io Sky comes in with the briefcase. She starts hitting Asuka with the briefcase. Her and Bayley double team on Asuka. She gives her rose plant on the briefcase. She hits her with the moonsault. It looks like Bayley's about to cash in and have Io win the championship, but then Bianca pulls Bayley out of the ring with the briefcase. Io is not able to cash in, but it really kind of laid out the landscape that Asuka has a couple of different threats to her championship, with Charlotte, with Io with the briefcase, and with Bianca now. And it was announced after this that it was Asuka versus Bianca for the WWE Women's Championship next week on SmackDown. What did you think about this segment here with everything being laid out?
Well, it was kind of scrambled, but I kind of but they can go in there and they can cherry pick what they want out of there. If they put a little package together, this, and they can tell the story. So who do you think who will have the title at SummerSlam?
I think Io Sky.
Nobody cares what you think. Go ahead.
Io Sky walks out with the title at SummerSlam.
Really?
Yeah.